they say there's no place like home, and the Springdale Bulldogs hope to prove that old saying true tonight with their home opener here at Bulldog Stadium against the Oklahoma City Star Douglas Bobcats. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Brooks, and I'll be your play-by-play for this exclusive Bulldog football playback brought to you by Springdale's Family Network, Channel 21. The Bulldogs hope tonight to rebound from their opening game loss to the Jinx Trojans last week. But to do that, they're going to have to stop the quick backfield of the Bobcats and their wishbone set. More importantly, for the Bulldogs, they're going to have to do it without some key players. Joe Davenport has mononucleosis and no indication yet of how long he'll be out, but at least tonight. Also, Trollinger has a slight ankle that's banged up, bothering him. Jason Wolf has a broken hand. So we'll see if the Bulldogs can step up and meet this challenge from an Oklahoma City team and get their first win of the season. Now, the Bulldogs won the opening toss, or at least are going to receive on this opening drive for them. There you see the coaches conferring down along the sidelines as we get set for the first home game against a team that the Springdale Bulldogs have never played, Oklahoma City Star Spencer, the Bobcats. They were 5-5 last year. They 1-1 coming into this game this evening. They lost their opener 24-14 to Oklahoma City Millwood and won Thursday night 20-14 against Oklahoma City Northeast. Well, tonight we hope to bring you just a little bit of a variation from what we normally do at Bulldog football games. We have our first on-the-field reporter, and the new youth minister at Elmdale Baptist Church, Brian Cody, is going to be trying to give us some updates from the sidelines and just give us an idea and a clue of what is happening. Right now, we're waiting on the Bobcats, and so the kickoff has been delayed. And while we're waiting for them to come out on the field, we're going to take our first break. And after we come back, then we're going to have the opening kickoff of this exclusive playback coverage by Channel 21. So stay tuned. We'll be back after this message.
What is pizza integrity?
Pizza, pasta, salad, dessert.
That's pizza integrity. That's Pizza Inn.
We're on a first-name basis in communities from Magnolia to Mountain Home. We back the hometown heroes in dozens of high schools throughout the state. And for years, we've helped with first dates, weddings, and second homes. Last Saturday, we made the loan for the boat and had quick cash for the bait, too. In fact, wherever you live, a little of us will rub off on you. Because no matter where you go in Arkansas, the local color is true blue.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
To forsake.
We've heard a lot about safe sex lately.
And cleave only to you.
And cleave only to you.
God's had a plan all along.
As long as we both shall live.
Welcome back. There you see the deep man for the Springdale Bulldogs, number 22, Todd Bewley, as the Bulldogs are set to receive this opening kickoff. And we're going to do the best we can to call out for you the numbers of the Oklahoma City Star Spencer Bobcats. And I talked to some of their players before the game. They left Oklahoma City at 9 o'clock. That's a long trip for them. I didn't know what they were doing. I asked them if they'd kind of tour the area. They've just been driving around. So we'll see what kind of impact that has on them. Joe Gates, who is their center, is going to be kicking off for them. And this team runs a 5-2 defense and has some incredible speed. They've also got some fairly big-size athletes on their team, and so we'll see what they're able to do against the Bulldogs. Here's the kick, and it's not too bad of a kick. It's taken by the short man at the 15-yard line. He's going to get good running room and is finally brought down, and they're going to mark him at about the 26-yard line, and that was number 48 as I turn it over. Kirby Burks on the carry was the short man. Once again set for the Springdale Bulldogs at quarterback Jim Ed Reed, and Jim Ed had a pretty fair game last week in the passing department. He was only 8 of 20, but a lot of the throws that should have been caught weren't, and that hurt those statistics a little bit. In the backfield, we have Josh Trollinger and Kirby Burks starting there, along with Brent Chastain at wingback. He fakes a handoff, rolls out to his right. He's got a man wide open. A beautiful catch by Jason Price. The ball was thrown just perfectly. Jason Price had to leap forward, and the Bulldogs strike early on a drive that really began at their 26-yard line. A beautiful pass play, gets the ball down to the 43-yard line, and that's the first down of the game. And boy, what a way to open up. A little bit different lineup tonight for the Bulldogs because of some injuries. Sean Coble in at tight end for Joe Davenport. Here's the snap. It's a handoff to Burks. He comes around the left side, bangs his way over the 40-yard line. He's going to be marked at about the 39, and it'll be a second down and about 7 yards to go. Tim Williams coming in with the play. Might remind you to just, you get an opportunity, thank our sponsors who make this possible. Lehman Shopping Center, Worthen Bank, Pizza Inn, First National Bank, and of course Elmdale Baptist Church help make this programming a reality. So Jim Ed Reed sends Burke in motion, hands off to Trollinger. He's met in the backfield almost immediately by number 68 from OC Douglas, Eric Autry. And several of these Bobcats going both ways as Eric plays also on offense. Going to bring up a third and still 7 yards to go for the Springdale Bulldogs. The offensive line for Springdale did very well last week, and maybe even surprised a few folks. It's a young offensive line led in the middle there by Rick Hammonds, a 6'3", 247 sophomore. There's the fake, and he's going to roll out to his left, looking deep again for Price. Price had to jump up into the air, as you saw there. Got his hands on the ball, but about the same time he was hit, and the ball went through his arms, and so it's going to bring up a fourth down situation, and the Bulldogs are going to be forced to punt. Good effort there by Mr. Price, but the Bulldogs are held here on their first possession. And so there you see back to punt Corey Wagner. He awaits the snap. Deep for the Bobcats is their quarterback. He barely gets that one off. It's taken at about the 11-yard line. He's swarmed under by a group of Bulldogs, and so the quarterback for the the Bobcats was the receiver there, Antonio Holloway. He's a little 5'6", 165-pound senior quarterback. And the Bobcats run something that you do not see very often these days, but they run the wishbone, and that could be a reflection of the fact that their head coach, Vic Carruthers, spent 10 years with the Oklahoma Sooners, heading up there recruiting. And so we'll see what they are able to do as they start at about the 9:45 mark from their own 14-yard line is going to be the mark. He hands up inside. Hard running there by the number 48, who's Donnie Richardson. So he gains about 5 yards on the pickup before he's finally brought down. Defense. There you see the wishbone, and you see one of the Bobcat players is incredibly huge. There's the set. He's going to drop back for a pass. He's got a man on a crossing route. Good defensive play by Tim Williams, and they sort of fight around for the ball, but they're going to give it to the Bulldogs. And so the Bulldogs get the first break of the game in terms of a turnover interception, and now they're reversing the call. And that is not going to go well with the home fans here. And we're going to already have a little bit of scuffling here. Tim Williams comes up with the ball, and already tempers are flaring, and the officials are going to be huddling. Initially, there's no question that Williams had intercepted the ball, but as he was coming down, the receiver managed to get his arms wrapped around it. And of course, on a mutual possession, according to the rule book, it goes to the offensive man. The question would have been there, at what point did he get his hands on the ball? And the officials, after conferring, decide that it is indeed a Springdale first down. At the 8:28 mark, they're going to have the ball from the 40-yard line to begin their second drive of the night. And I'm sure that didn't please the Bobcat coaching staff. They brought a few fans with them, but that is a very long drive indeed. And they call a timeout, and their coach is going to confer with the official. With that, we're going to take a timeout, and we'll be back right after this message.
You're watching one of the world's most advanced big screen televisions on the market today. It's made by RCA. It's like bring the theater home to you. Let Layman's bring a big screen RCA into your home.
Free delivery and in-store financing available. Open 7 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Layman's Furniture, Appliance, and Electronics, 509 East Emma, downtown Springdale. And tell them WL sent you.
Well, welcome back. We've got our first controversy in this game, and it involved the pass interception play that Tim Williams made. He went up and he had the ball, and I think as you watched that playback, it was clearly evident that he had it all the way down. The defender at that point, which would have been the wide receiver, did a good job really as he got his hands around the ball, and both of them hit the ground, sort of wrestling for the ball. And after a conference, the officials decided to stick with the initial call that they'd made and give the ball to Springdale. So Jim Ed Reed comes out and sets up at the 46-yard line. Inside counterplay to Chastain. He has great running room, gets inside the 40-yard line to about the 36-yard line. So about a 12, well, yeah, it's going to be about a 9-yard pickup on the play. We'll get it set there. Bryant Chastain seeing duty because Jason Wolf has a broken bone in his hand. A lot of changes tonight for the Bulldogs because of some injury situations and some other things. There's Burks and Trollinger. He hands off to Burks. He comes around and right in, but he's going to be swarmed by the Bobcats, and they just really reacted quickly to the ball. And so that will bring up a third down. It was 2nd and 1. It's going to bring up a third down and about 4 yards to go. Tim Williams comes in with the play from the bench. Might also just mention in the offensive line, Jonathan Lewis, Clint Panalto, Rick Hammonds, the center, Mark Blackwell, and Big Lloyd Meeks, the sophomore tackle, along with Sean Coble, the sophomore tight end. So 3 sophomores starting tonight in that offensive line. Burks goes in motion. Reed comes down the line, tucks it up inside. He's going to have the first down as he lunges forward. They're going to give him actually the mark at about the 34-yard line, but that's all he's going to need to pick up the second first down of the night for the Springdale Bulldogs. We're at 7:09 in the first quarter. If you were here on this night, it was a beautiful night for football from a fan's perspective. Not quite a full house here at Bulldogs Stadium, but they're still coming in. And I hope that you'll make the trip this week as we play Bentonville. So with the 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line, the Bulldogs set up again. Chastain goes in motion. He hands off inside to Trollinger. Quick opener through the line, and he's going to be driven out of bounds at about the 27-yard line or so. There you see a good shot of Josh, who had some problems with his ankle last week. They taped it at halftime. He wanted to play so badly, went back into the game, but really was not able to be effective. Coach said he was about 80% tonight, and so we'll see what Mr. Trollinger will be able to do. 2nd down, 3 yards to go from the 27-yard line. And so the Bulldogs doing something important. Not only are they driving, but they're maintaining possession of the football. Chastain in motion, comes down the line. He's got plenty of running room. Now he's going to pitch at the last second to Chastain. Sort of a dangerous play, but Chastain pulled it in. He's going to give the Bulldogs a 1st and 10. And the ball's going to be spotted right at the 20-yard line. In fact, that's exactly where they're going to lay it down. And so Williams comes in, alternating sitting in plays with Williams and Clay Galloway at split end. Now, once again tonight, we're going to try to be bringing you some sideline reports from our sideline reporter, Brian Cody. We'll see if we can bring that to you soon. Here's Jim Ed Reed with a 1st and 10 at the 20. He's going to drop back for a pass. He's looking for, he's looking for Kirby Burks out of the backfield, and Kirby had it but just couldn't bring it down as you see him going back to the huddle, and so that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10 situation. And so Jim Ed Reed has had a couple of passes dropped so far tonight. Comes back into the huddle with the play as the coach is sending in a play. 2nd down, 10 yards to go is the call. There's a handoff inside. He's coming down the line. He pitches outside. Chastain's going to get down to about the 15-yard line. Here you see a real good close-up of him. But he's going to just pick up a few yards, about 4 yards on the play, and so it's going to be a 3rd down situation for the Bulldogs. So they're going to call it 3rd and 6 from the 16 as we move under the 6-minute mark. There's Reed underneath Hammonds. Fakes the running plays, looking to throw to Trollinger. Got him wide open and touchdown. So at 5:33, Trollinger catches a 16-yard TD pass to put the Bulldogs up. Boy, much like last week, the linebacker who was covering Trollinger went for the interception in just a matter of inches, or he would have had that, and he might have gone a long way, but it worked out well for the Bulldogs, and so Springdale breaks on top first. The score is 6-0 here, and there's the PAT, and it's good by Corey Wagner. And so with 5:33 left in the first quarter, the score 7-0. We'll take a break from this action.
First National Bank of Springdale is with you every day. We're with you when you're planning your future, or when you're building your future, or when you're enjoying the rewards of your labor. We've been a locally owned bank since 1907, helping to make your dreams come true then, and helping to make your dreams come true now. We're everything you want in a bank. We're First National Bank of Springdale. We're with you.
Well, we're back. The Bulldogs have broke on top, much to the delight of this very, very partisan crowd. It's good to be back in Bulldog Stadium. I tell you what, Jinx Stadium was a nice place to be, a great press box, but there's no place like home, and it's great to be back. And I hope you've come out to support the Bulldogs, even though you know you can watch it again on our replay. Nothing like actually being there. Corey Wagner set to kick it off to the Bobcats for what will be their 2nd possession. Good kickoff by Wagner, bobbled by the running back. He finally picks it up at about the 4-yard line, and he breaks free into the open, 1 man to beat, and just a good touchdown saving tackle by Tim Williams. I tell you what, that was a great run by Bill Caldwell, and I got to meet Bill before the game, and Bill's an interesting story for the Bobcats. He really wanted to be in the marching band, and the coach talked him into coming back out for football, and he's their leading rusher at this point. And boy, Tim Williams just saved the Bulldogs 6 points because he was the last man, and he tripped him up, and so they're going to set up with good field position from the 36-yard line. Inside handoff at the 5:13 mark is where they're going to begin this drive. They're going to give him credit to just about maybe a half yard over the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 2nd down, 9 yards to go. One of the things that we look forward to tonight is being able to bring you, without question, the best marching band in the state of Oklahoma at halftime, or Oklahoma. Arkansas, we're back in Arkansas. We'll get it right. There's a quick little toss to the split end, number 40, Harold Smith, but it sails over his head, and it'll be 3rd down and 9. If you have never watched the marching band here at Springdale, you have missed a treat. And so we'll try to bring that to you at halftime. Still quite a ways yet before that, but I want to alert you of that because it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous performance, and you'll want to be a part of that. Here we come now. The ball is on the 37-yard line. 3rd down, 9 yards to go for the Bobcats. Quick pitch out to one of the running backs, but he's covered well. A fumble on the play, and the initial indication is that Springdale has recovered the ball, and that's exactly what's going to happen. They'd shut it down well, but they pick up a fumble. That's their 2nd turnover of the night. And it's going to give them a 1st and 10. At the 42-yard line is where they're going to mark it. And so both of O.C. Douglas's possessions, well, they're going to mark it at the 41. Both of their possessions have ended in turnovers, so their punter's not seen the field. And Springdale cashed in on the last one. They set up shop last time at the 46, and now they're at the 41, so good field position for the Bulldogs. Reed's going to drop back. He's got a man out to the outside, and he goes for Price, and we're going to have a pass interference called on number 1, Antonio Holloway. I tell you what, he had Chastain in the middle of the field, but he didn't see him, and that was really, though, an impressive pass play. And so we're going to have our first penalty of the game, and it appears that the Bulldogs are going to benefit. There you see some of the cheerleaders on the sidelines. Now we wait for the official indication and the step off. Well, there we have it, and it's going to give the Bulldogs another 1st and 10. And that'll set the ball at the 26-yard line for Springdale. Good crowd of students out tonight. And we've got a timeout. I tell you what, with this timeout, we'll take a break also. We'll be back in just a moment after this message.
Some of America's most priceless treasures are not found in concrete and steel or on the side of a mountain, but in the faces of our children. In today's world, they need a firm moral and spiritual foundation more than ever.
This guy can fly. Bang, we got him on the Roz. He's trying to target us. Jam him.
Space technology of the 21st century.
He's pulling a 7G turn out of here.
It's here, now, in the Air Force. Aim high. Air Force.
Well, there you see the cheerleaders trying to get the crowd into this game, and one thing that's helped get the crowd into this game has been the Bobcats' inability to handle the football, and Bulldogs have received 2 turnovers and 1 key pass interference penalty, and so they're setting right now with the ball on the Bobcats' 26-yard line, 4:02 left in what is the first quarter, believe it or not. It seems like it ought to be the second quarter. This game already has seemingly been a long game. There's Rick Hammond's, Clint Pinalto, Mark Blackwell, Lloyd Meeks, and Jonathan Lewis, the inside lineman. And somebody misses a block there because Reed handed off to Trollinger, and he just got smothered in the backfield and is going to lose about 2 yards on the play, and that'll bring up a 2nd down. They're going to call it 11. 2nd and 11. Price comes in with the play from the coaching staff. The clock's moving at 3:38 and counting. There you see the Bulldogs breaking a huddle. And we'll see what they're able to do here on second down with 11 yards to go. They send a man in motion. He hands off to Chastain, and he's met by the linebacker, number 50 for the Bobcats. That's Richard Mumford. And so he's going to get back up to the original line of scrimmage and bring up a 3rd down and 10 situation. They're going to give him almost 2 yards on the pickup. So Springdale, let's see what they can do on 3rd down situation here. Here's the snap. He rolls out to his right. Good block, and he tucks it up. He's going to run, cuts back inside, and he's going to get down close. And boy, he got really hit. Jim Edwards trying to cut back, and I don't know if he even saw that man. He really got stuck, but the important thing is he picked up the 1st and 10. It'll be 1st and goal. A good run there as the Bulldogs taking off, some time on the clock. And we've got some talk going on here by the officials. And they're asking something to be turned off. I think what they're conferring about is the 25-second clock. I'm not real sure yet. No indication as of yet what was going on there. The referee is going back to the other side to sort of give the explanation to Star Spencer coaching staff. Just another thing to make this first half a little longer. Well, clock is rolling now. 2:34. Bulldogs have a 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Trollinger, Burks, and Chastain in the backfield. Trollinger is just going to run into the end zone. 2:17. Trollinger, 5-yard TD run. And the Bulldogs, due to the turnovers, are beginning to make this thing look a little easy thus far. A little early to say that yet because Star Spencer's really not been able to get untracked as of yet. Corey Wagner sets up for the PAT. There it is. It's up and it's good. And so with 2:17 left with the score 14-0, we'll take a break and we'll be back in a moment.
A baby cries and mama rocks away the harm.
Every day, abortion denies 4,000 tiny unborn babies the right to live, the right to be loved, the right to take that first big step. 4,000 abortions a day, 1,500,000 abortions a year is a lot of love denied.
Well, there you see Corey Wagner, who thus far tonight has had 2 kickoffs, and before this is over, unless something drastically changes, he could be a very, very busy young man. Of course, that's what we'd like to see, the partisan crew here and fans. 2:17 left in just the first quarter, and this has been one of the longest first quarters. There's the kickoff. It's going to be taken at about the 11-yard line. And he's going to cut to the outside, try to get outside, and he's going to get finally brought down. He fumbled the football, but fell right back on top of it. And boy, what a dangerous play. Bill Caldwell looked like he was going to be able to break it to the outside, but the Bulldogs quickly converged upon him and brought him down. And so Oklahoma City, Star Spencer, that's a mouthful, isn't it? It's going to set up with the 26-yard line at 2:06 still in the first quarter on their third possession. Boy, there you see a shot of 78. That's Tremaine Foreman, and I tell you what, Tremaine has put away a few Big Macs sacks in his day. And Sean Cobles across from him. That's going to be quite a matchup. There's a pitch back. Good penetration by the Bulldogs. Josh Trollinger is just going to manhandle him down back at about the 20-yard line. And so the Bulldogs really dominating on that play, drove right through, and they're going to have the ball placed at about the 23-yard line. So a good play by the Bulldogs. Now again, we're hoping to have some sideline reports and even some in the stands reports from one of our new correspondents here, Brian Cody. First, this play, 2nd and 13, kind of a little crossbuck, and the Bulldogs not fooled at all on that. Number 20, their running back, Michael Taylor for the Bobcats. He's brought down, maybe gains about a yard. It's going to be a 3rd down 12 situation as we move under a minute left in the first quarter. Here come the Bobcats, needing desperately to convert here. They've so far been able to even punt the ball as they've turned it over on their first 2 possessions. And the quarterback drops back for a pass. He just threw it to the wrong man, and Williams picks his 2nd interception off, and he's got good blocking, crosses the field, and now he's all alone as he's trying to outrun some players. Finally, he's brought down to the 35-yard line. Boy, the Bulldogs have really been the recipient of the turnovers tonight. Why punt when you can throw a ball? That was obviously a mix-up as Holloway threw his sideline pass. His receiver was in the middle of the field, and Tim Williams just sort of playing center field, picked that off. You see a shot of Tim there and ran it back about 20, 30 yards or so. And O.C. Douglas coaching staff trying to get his players back in the game because that is a big, big turnover. There's 21 seconds left in the first quarter. The Bulldogs are going to have the ball at the 35-yard line, just outside the 35-yard line, and their worst possession's been their own 26 at the kickoff when they had to pump 5 plays. We'll see what they're able to do here. Chastain in motion. He's got the ball around his sweep. Trollinger makes the block, but the man bounces off that block, but still good yardage as he's going to get down to almost the 25-yard line. It's going to be about the 26-yard line. That's the end of the first quarter, and with that, we're going to take a break. We're going to our on-the-field reporter right now, and we'll see if we can bring this report to you. Here's Brian Cody.
Ellendale Baptist Church here in Springdale. I'm here in the student section of the mighty Bulldog Stadium, and it's very wild and very crazy up here tonight. I'm here to promote the 5th quarter tonight from 10 to 11. It'll be in the Ellendale Baptist Church Christian Life Center from 10 to 11 tonight. We're going to try to build Springdale's largest banana split. Bulldogs are going to win tonight. Go Bulldogs!
Here's one big reason why you should be in church next week. Your children. Whatever their ages, there's so much they can learn in church about life and love and positive values, about families and faith and hope that only God can give. So bring your children to church. You might learn something too.
All right, the Bulldogs have a 2nd down and 1 from the 26-yard line as we start this second quarter. Reed hands off to Burke. Burke comes around the right end. He cuts back, and he gets down inside the 15-yard line. The Bulldogs are going to have another 1st and 10. Well, that's good to have Brian Cody with us and our crew of volunteers. That's always exciting down there in the student section. I tell you what, they are just jam-packed down in there. And that's a real thrill, I know, for them. So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from the 14-yard line. The clock is running. Springdale trying to pad their early lead that they've already amassed thanks to the turnovers of the O.C. Star Spencer Bobcats. Reed's going to hand off to Chastain. He's going to pop it back inside. Good blocking by the Bulldogs. He gets down to about the 3-yard line. And that'll be another 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs if they give him the mark. And I believe indeed that he does have it. Referee's sort of looking it over. And he's going to give it to him. It's a 1st and 10, which by my records is the 7th of this half. And if things keep up the way they're going, we very well could see some of the very talented men that are on the second team. This is a very competitive Springdale football team when you realize there are over 100 athletes out for football. And so these men who are out here starting have really had to battle and scratch their way out onto the starting lineup. Here's the handoff to Burks. He cuts back inside, headed around the right end. And he's going to be down close to the goal line, but he looks like they're going to mark him at about the 1-yard line. So the Bulldogs will have a 2nd down and goal situation. And finally, the stands begin to really fill out. Of course, sidelines full. Small handful. I do mean a handful. There may be 10 fans from Spencer who made the trip, and so these young men have to feel pretty lonely being here in enemy territory. 10:36 and counting. 2nd down and 1. Trollinger has the handoff, and Trollinger has the touchdown. So at 10:27, Trollinger, a 1-yard TD run. And Josh, who was questionable going into this game, now has 3 touchdowns. And you sort of like to see that all the time. If he's 80%, what would he do when if he was 100%? The Bulldogs up 20-0 now. Corey Wagner going to try to get on and make it more. We've got a shaken up player on the field at this time. We'll pause for just a moment and bring you the extra point in a second. Well, there we're back, and you see some of the Bulldogs there along the sideline. That's Clay Galloway. Clay Galloway, one of the split ends that alternates bringing in plays for the Bulldogs. Corey Wagner set to add the PAT. If he makes it, it'll be the 3rd that he's made of the game. And they say it's no good this time, and so the score is 20-0, the Springdale Bulldogs. And we'll be back in just a moment. Well, we're back. And Corey Wagner, we mentioned earlier in this telecast, we said he might wear himself out. We don't mind seeing that happen. And he's set to kick off once again. And he gets his leg into it and is going to send it back to a good kickoff to about the 2-yard line. And again, it's bobbled, picked up by Bill Caldwell, who we have a penalty on the play also. So we'll see just what exactly becomes of that. Now, Bill Caldwell is supposed to be their big gun, but thus far, he's not been able to do much of anything. I don't have that. The Bobcats have even made a 1st and 10 as yet in this game. And we're waiting to see there what the referee is going to call. Good camera work there by one of our cameramen, Richard O'Hannon. Well, it's an illegal block, which is a block below the waist, and some of the new rules in the last few years that have been enacted, particularly in mind of knee safety. And one of the Star Spencer players is guilty, and that's going to set them back even further. This is the Bobcats' 4th possession of the game. And they're already in a hole as the ball looks to be about the 13-yard line. Well, it's the 8-yard line, excuse me. It's hard to see. He's going to drop back to pass. Little slant in, and it was tipped away by the Bulldogs. And already for Springdale, some substitutions being made. And we love to see that. Makes my job a little bit more difficult as we try to go down deep into the program and find some young men who are making a great contribution. 2nd down and 10. He's going to hand off to his running back Caldwell, and he is met at the line just almost immediately. And making the tackle there for the Bulldogs, Dustin Douglas. Here you see a good shot of some of the Bulldogs into the game tonight. Josh Trollinger just doing a great job Todd Bewley in this series, making his presence felt. It's going to be 3rd down, 9 yards to go. And Holloway, the quarterback, is going to drop back, and he's going to let loose a deep bomb, and it was overthrown and out of bounds to his wide receiver, Harold Smith. And so for the first time, we may indeed see a punt by the Bobcats. They haven't had to punt before because they keep turning the football over. And so I guess from one standpoint, if you're a Bobcat fan, which I doubt very, very seriously any of you listening to me now on this playback on Tuesday or Thursday are Bobcat fans, but nonetheless, we'll say that they have accomplished something, having made it to the 4-down mark for the first time, 4th and about 9, and they're going to be set to punt. They've got some players missing, so they're trying to get everything set here so that they can get the punt off. They've turned the 25-second clocks off, and I'm not really sure exactly why they've done that, but nonetheless, a lot of mix-up by the Bobcats, and that's going to be taken by Chastain, and he's going to try to get to the outside. He does. The Bobcats, because of just some good team speed, able to close in on him, but not before the Bulldogs are going to have excellent field position, and they're going to be about the 26-yard line if they spot him. And they are indeed going to put the ball down at the 26-yard line. So at 8:59, the Springdale Bulldogs are going to set up with their 5th possession. And every one of their possessions except the opening kickoff has been inside Bobcat territory, and once again they're in the same position. Second offense in right now, many of them, and so a little bit of mix-up as they get things situated and set here. Number 9, the quarterback, Jeremy McGibney, and he hands off inside to Sean Friesen, and he's going to pick up about 4 yards on the first down carry and get down to about the 23-yard line is what the mark is going to be. And so it'll be a 2nd down, 6 situation. And again, I hope you'll be patient with us as we try to do our best to try to call out the names of these young men. In the backfield is also Chris Johnson. Jeremy McGibney hands off to Johnson, hands back. We've got a host of penalty flags on the play. Brandon Hobbs ended up, I'm sorry, that's 28. Sean Delosier, looks like 26 there a minute. Sorry, Sean. Sean Delosier had the carry, and he picked up maybe about a yard, but we're going to have a penalty, and it's going to be against the Bobcats. I tell you what, when it rains, it pours. The Oklahoma City Star Spencer Bobcats really feeling the brunt of this Bulldog attack thus far, and they've not helped themselves any either. Here you see the cheerleaders trying to cheer the Bulldog fans on. Well, next week, actually this week as you're watching this, begins conference play for the Bulldogs as they'll be back in Bulldog Stadium against the Bentonville Tigers. Bentonville Tigers who came in here in the opening scrimmage of this year and played pretty tough against a mixed team of Bulldogs. We'll see what they're able to do this week. McGibney with the 1st and 10. Hands off. And that indeed this time is Brandon Hobbs. And Brandon, the sophomore there, as you see him going back to the huddle, we've got a penalty flag. And it appears to be on Springdale as he is talking to. It's a holding play. And so the Bulldogs are going to get their first penalty of the night. And back up a little bit here. Well, thus far, the Star Spencer Bobcats have been just really outmanned by the Bulldogs, but Springdale has a formidable task now as the ball sets at about the 24-yard line. To get a first down, they'll have to go all the way inside the 1-yard line. They do have a 1st and 10, so they've got 4 plays to do it in. McGibney hands off, good running room down the sideline. He's going to get run out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Chris Johnson, as you see him coming back to the huddle. So the Bulldogs will have a second down and about 15 yards to go. As again, they've got to get down almost to the goal line itself to make a first down. Again, thank you for watching this playback. We're bringing them to you on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. McGibbity at the helm for the Bulldogs. Hands off again to Johnson. He tries to get to the outside. He does break a tackle and gets down inside the 10-yard line. Looks to be about the 9, close to the original line of scrimmage. Ball is just going to be resting on the 10-yard line, the nose of it inside, and that will be a third down situation for the Bulldogs with about 9 yards to go. They can make a 1st and 10. It'll be almost in the end zone by the time they do. There you see Justin Jones is at tight end. 71, Travis Byer is at tackle. As we try to sort this all out for you, Ryan Rinaldi is one of the guards, or is the center. And we're set. Jeremy McGibbity at quarterback, drops back, rolls out. Had a host of men he could have picked from, and incomplete as he was going in the back corner for Sean Delosier, but Delosier well covered on the play, and the ball was tipped by the defender and fell incomplete. So Bulldogs have a 4th down situation with a 20-0 lead. They're going to go for it. And I imagine if this follows suit of what Gerald Williams has done in the past, you may see the first team one more time to open up the first half. And then if things go the way they are right now, that'll be the last time for them. McGibbity rolls out. He's being rushed by a lot of men. He throws an excellent touchdown pass. There you see Mr. Friesen, Sean Friesen, a 9-yard TD pass at 6:33, and it's almost like the Bulldogs can do no wrong. So Sean Friesen made a great catch there to get into the end zone. Jeremy McGibbity put the ball right where it needed to be. And we have in for the PAT, Nathan Young. There's the snap, it's up, and the kick is good, but it's to the right, so it's no good. And so we'll take a pause here with 6:33 left. The score's 26-0.
Up here in the student section, and it's still very wild and very crazy. The score is now 26-0 in favor of the Springdale Bulldogs. I'm talking today with
Brandy, Amy, and Kim.
And they're all going to the 5th quarter fellowship tonight after the game at Elmdale Baptist Church. It's from 10 to 11 p.m. and we'll be having the Springdale's largest banana split. Bulldogs are going to win.
Yeah!
All right. Thank you, Brian. Brian Cody, our new Minister of Youth at Elmdale Baptist Church. And we do invite all you students to come be a part of what we believe is going to be a dynamic youth ministry. Well, Nathan Young set to kick off for the Springdale Bulldogs, and it has all been Springdale's way tonight. As he kicks a short kickoff, it's going to bounce at about the 21-yard line. It's picked up by a Bobcat, and he's going to be thrown back and finally brought down as he's converged upon by several Bulldogs. If he'd have just fallen on it where it was at, he would have been further ahead of the game than what he is right now. And so O.C. Douglas needs desperately to do something right now, as the Bulldogs really dominating this team of young men who made that 4.5-hour trip. And the Bulldogs have not given them much of a welcome. Ball is just on the 15-yard line, and we've got timeout. We'll take a pause, and we'll be back in a moment. All right, we're back, and the situation is O.C. Douglas has their 5th possession of the first half. From their own 15-yard line, 6:17 left in the half. They try an inside handoff, and it goes absolutely nowhere. And as of yet, this team from Oklahoma City has not been able to even get outside with that wishbone. And really no indication at this point. Is it just simply they don't have the talent, or is it that the Bulldogs are playing so well? It, I would think, is maybe a combination of both. There you see, I've seen a lot of people getting refreshments at a football game in a lot of different ways, but I think that's the first time I've ever seen anything quite like that. Brought to you by Jeff Kimes, our cameraman on the field. Quite a shot there by that. Second down, 10 yards to go. Holloway, the quarterback for the Bobcats, is going to drop back. He's looking for a man. He's going to run out of the backfield and jukes around and is finally brought down, but that's probably the best offensive play in a long, long time for the Bobcats, as he's going to get up to about the 18-yard line. It'll bring up a third down situation. About 7 yards to go. One of the things that was talked about this Bobcat team was their speed and quickness, but as of yet, not been able to show just a whole lot there. So Holloway needs to do something for the Bobcats. Quick pitch to the outside man, the running back. He tries to cut back up inside, but just a tremendous play made there by the Bulldogs, and that was Brandon Hobbs, who surged through the line, sophomore, and made a great play for the Bulldogs. That's going to bring up a fourth down situation. The Bobcats had a hard time getting all of their punting team on the field last time. In fact, didn't. The referees didn't see it, but one of their players ran down the sideline about the 10-yard line trying to get on and was simply unable to do so. And even right now, with the clock still running, it doesn't look to me like they're going to get this punt off without taking a penalty. For some reason, they turned the 25-second clock off, and I'm not sure exactly why that was. But nonetheless, you see one of the Bobcats trying to get out on the field. I don't know if that's because in Oklahoma they don't have them, and it was confusing to the Bobcats, or just exactly what the problem was. And so it appears that we are set. There's a snap, and we are going to have a penalty, which would probably be a delay of game, because goodness gracious, it seemed like that took forever. And that's exactly what you're going to have, delay of game. And it's going to back the Bobcats up even further. Springdale's going to have plenty of time, 3:56 left on the clock to mount another drive. It's 26-0 now. And so we'll see if they can get this punt off, and it's going to sail over the head of the kicker out of the end zone, and that's going to be a safety. So at 3:52, the Bulldogs are going to get a safety as the snap sailed over the kicker's head out of the end zone. Springdale really didn't have to do anything for those 2 points. And that makes the score 28-0, and we're going to line up and have a kickoff again. And after this pause, we'll be back with that kickoff. Okay, we're back. The score 28-0. Just a few minutes, 3 minutes and 52 seconds left in this first half. Star Spencer is going to have to kick off from their 20. The ball is going to be taken at about the 32-yard line, straight up the middle of the field, over inside Star Spencer territory, which is about where Springdale has camped out all night long. Number 44, Nathan Winters for the Bulldogs. And so the Bulldogs have their 6th possession. At the 3:45 mark left in this half, they're going to set up at the Bobcat 48-yard line. And really, the Bobcats, my fear is that they'll get in their bus and go home at halftime, you know. This is really turning into a rout very, very quickly. There's a handoff. He goes around the end, cuts it back outside after trying to go inside. And as we try to give you the players, a little bit of a tussle going on there for the football. Jesse Birch is the quarterback now. And just a host of young men in there playing. And so it's going to be difficult for us to sort through this now. James Yeck just came into the ball game. And we'll try to set this backfield for you. Dane McGee is one of the running backs. Barry Noblin is the fullback. Number 37, good running room by the Bulldogs. He's going to be up close to first down territory is Nathan Young. So the Bulldogs will have a third down in about a 2-yard situation. And Coach Williams, to prevent running this thing up more than it already is, putting in a host of younger Bulldogs who are getting some playing time. You know, that's got to be a thrill for some of these young men, trying to get some of them situated correctly. Young in motion. And Birch is going to be stopped at about the 41-yard line, so that's going to be a 4th down situation. And it looks as if the Bulldogs would need to punt. 1:58 and counting at this point. And if they do punt, it would be the first punt of the game for the Bulldogs. Or second, I'm sorry. Well, they're going to go for it. Birch, the quarterback, sends Young in motion, and we're going to have offsides now. And so a little bit of a mix-up. Be the second penalty on the Springdale Bulldogs, and that should bring up a punting situation, you would think. Fourth down now, and about 7 yards to go, almost 8. It was a long 2. No one came in, so Jarrow maybe going to try to keep the ball by making it first down. That appears to be exactly what he's going to do on 4th down and 8. The ball at the 46-yard line. Birch hands off inside, and really a gain of no yardage there on that play as Bucky White took the ball. And so Star Spencer, for the first time, is able to hold the Bulldogs, and they have their 6th possession of the night coming up. Just a minute 16 left in the half. This is their best field position, their own 46-yard line. And we'll see what some of the younger Bulldogs are able to do now. Sean Friesen in there at linebacker. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats. Springdale's got too many men on the field, but it appears they're going to let them go. Now there is the flag for that, and we're going to have pass interference. And I'm not sure I would have called that, but they're going to call pass interference against Jesse Birch. They're also going to call the Bulldogs for having too many men on the field, unable to get them all out. And given that, now this is going to be incredible, but given that penalty for the Bobcats, they're going to pick up the first down of the game at 54 seconds left in the first half before they make a 1st and 10, and they wouldn't have made that had it not been for a penalty. Springdale has just pretty much done anything they've wanted to do tonight, and Star Spencer has done pretty much what you'd want a team to do if you were the opposition. That's hand the ball to you. So they're going to have a 1st and 10 just inside the Bulldog 40-yard line. They've got 54 seconds left to try to put something together here, as several young men are in for the first time, getting some playing time. Holloway, long snap count. Drops back. He's going to be rushed. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket, and he's being chased by Friesen. Smothers. He gets out of bounds, and we're going to have a penalty. Okay. All right, here we go. After a penalty clipping against the Bobcats, they're backed up to the 46-yard line. Still 1st and 10. 45 seconds left. Holloway's going to back up and throw a bomb. And boy, a well-thrown ball. It's going to be, well, it starts to say caught for a touchdown. He's going to be brought down at about the 4-yard line. That really was a beautiful play constructed there. And I'm not sure, had the first team been in, we would have been able to stop that. That's the first time the Bobcats have really put together something offensively. 36 seconds left in the half. As many of the Springdale Bulldogs in. The clock is running. The ball's at the 4-yard line. And the Bobcats going to try to put something in here. Inside handoff. Bulldogs going to stop him inside. I'm not sure that the Bobcats have any timeouts. They had to waste several timeouts early on. Second down, 3 yards to go, 16 seconds, and the clock is counting. The Bobcats trying to get back to the line of scrimmage to get something going. He fakes a handoff. He's going to be stopped, and then is going on second effort to get in the touchdown into the end zone with 4 seconds left. And so after the touchdown run is going to go for the 2-point conversion. Holloway looks for a man in the end zone. He's got it, and it's good with 4 seconds left. We'll take a pause. Well, here's the kickoff with about 4 seconds left. They try an onside kick, and it does go finally 10 yards. And the Bulldogs. Back to the start of the second half of this exclusive playback brought to you by Channel 21, Springdale's Family Network. It was a long first half as the Bulldogs put it in the end zone 4 times. Actually got a safety when the snap sailed over the punter's head into the end zone. Finally, with about 4 seconds left, Oklahoma Star Spencer was able to get on the scoreboard against some of the second-team players. And if Gerald Williams follows what is his usual course of action, you will see the first team for an initial series and Corey Wagner doing the initial kickoff here, and then you'll see perhaps some of the second teamers and third teamers again. The run back's going to be made to about the 25-yard line, just barely over. Oklahoma Star Spencer is going to have the first possession of this second half, and they lead by 20 points. They made the 2-point conversion right at the end there as we literally ran out of tape going into the halftime presentation. And what a tremendous show by the Springdale Marching Band. They get better and better every year, I think, and have added a percussion number this year that is really one of the most delightful high school performances, at least, that you will see in a long time. I formation for Oklahoma City Star Spencer, and we'll see what they're able to do with this. He drops back, rolls into a passing situation. He gets a tremendous rush placed upon him so that he was unable to really set up at all. Corey Wagner was all over the quarterback, Antonio Holloway, for the Bobcats, and it's going to be a second down, 10-yard situation for them. And you'd think if Star Spencer had any hope of making this even a close ball game right now with this possession, they desperately need to do something with the football, try to garner some points, if nothing else, perhaps from their standpoint, just eat up some time off the clock and keep possession of the ball for a while. So Holloway, with one back in their backfield, hands off to him, and just a wonderful play by Corey Wagner. He fought off the block and met the running back, Bill Caldwell, in the backfield. And Bill Caldwell may be thinking, I wish I had stayed in the band. The story on Bill Caldwell was that the coach, Vic Carruthers, had talked him out of being in the band. And coming into this game, he was highly touted to be one of their star players, but as of yet, he's unable really to do anything. Corey Wagner threw him for a huge loss there. And so it's third down, 18 yards to go. Holloway trying to make something happen, and we're going to have a penalty. And it is delay of game. And so the first penalty of the second half, the Bobcats had about 5 penalties in the first half. So they're starting out the second half about the same way that they did the first half, backing up. That'll make it 3rd and 23. Ball's on the 12-yard line. And you can almost feel those Bulldog defenders getting ready to tee off in hopes of dumping the quarterback. And he pats the top of his head, maybe an audible there. Here's a snap, fakes the handoff inside, sets up, gets hit right as he releases the ball, and it's going to be intercepted and he's going to have tremendous running room. Down the sideline is Todd Bewley, and really what made that play, and I was unable to see exactly who made the hit, but what made that play was the defender just popped Holloway as he was throwing the ball, and it put a little bit of a wobbler on the ball. It just hung up there. Good coverage by Bewley, and he nonetheless intercepted that and was able to go for quite a ways. And so the Bulldogs on their first possession of this game at 10:25 going to have the ball from the 22-yard line of Star Spencer, and that really has been the story of this ball game, because the Bulldogs, the worst field position that they had was the opening kickoff when they took it from about their 26-yard line. The next worst was the 48-yard line of Star Spencer. And so once again, the first team offense in, and we got a little bit of a penalty situation there, as Springdale is going to be assessed a penalty and be backed up in that situation. So it'll be 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs, as they're going to be flagged for illegal procedure. Thanks for watching tonight. We enjoyed doing this for you. Our crew does this all volunteer basis. About the only thing they got out of it, they got some pizza tonight, and that was about the extent of their pay. Randall Reynolds here up in the booth with me on camera 1. Jeff Kimes down on the field camera. Buck Webb's our director. Back to the action. 1st and 15. Jim Ed Reed drops him straight back, gets flushed out of the pocket, and is going to be dropped for a loss, a huge loss, back at the Star Spencer 40-yard line. So both teams having some difficulty after halftime getting untracked. Richard Bohannon runs our other camera that sits on top of the concession stand. And we're glad to have all of those young men. Dale Tyler doing his best to try to solve what problems we have technically here during the game. That's always hard. Chastain in motion. Reed again drops straight back. He's got a man wide open but doesn't see him. Now he throws to him. And just a wonder that he made the catch, because really had the defender all over his back. Referee shaking his head no, but Chris Johnson had to do something pretty difficult. He had to catch the football and at the same time do that while he had a man riding on his back. The officials decided they weren't going to flag that. That was obvious interference. Wasn't even any question about it. But nonetheless, 3rd down and 18 for the Bulldogs. Good pass rush by the Bobcats in this series. Jim Ed Reed rolling out on the run, throws an interception. So throws an interception, and Jim Ed Reed is hurt badly as he was driven out of bounds, and he is not getting up, and much to the consternation of the Springdale partisan crowd, and Jim Ed has not moved much at all. Did not see that because I looked downfield at the interception, and they're taking special care with Jim Ed, and this looks to be pretty serious right now. We're going to hold it here on the play camera for just a moment as we see this develop, and we certainly hope that Jim Ed's all right, but they're checking him out pretty thoroughly. I tell you what, we're going to go to a commercial break right now, and after this break, we hope to bring you the action back. Here we are with a commercial break.
First National Bank of Springdale is with you every day. We're with you when you're planning your future, or when you're building your future, or when you're enjoying the rewards of your labor. We've been a locally owned bank since 1907, helping to make your dreams come true then, and helping to make your dreams come true now. We're everything you want in a bank. We're First National Bank of Springdale. We're with you.
Jesus is the creator.
Jesus is the way.
Jesus is the King of Kings.
Jesus is the hope of all nations.
Jesus is a true friend.
Jesus is the rock of my salvation.
Jesus is the Son of God.
Well, welcome back. That is a good sight to see, because initially a lot of concern is Jim Ed Reed had gone down, and they took a long time looking over him. He was slowly walking back. Jim Ed has probably seen the last of his playing tonight. As we said, as that play developed, Springdale was having some difficulty holding back the pass rush, and Jim Ed Reed was driven out of bounds there at the end of that play. The ball was intercepted, and so where we are situated now is that Star Spencer has the ball at their own 16-yard line. 9:03. Appears to be all right, just pretty well shaken up, and I'm sure that's probably the last we'll see of Jim Ed for tonight, but he's had a pretty good night. So Holloway, the quarterback, and boy, we have another penalty, and this has really been just a comedy of errors. Thus far, this second half, really both teams very ragged, and that's going to back Star Spencer up. Is their second penalty. So Holloway gets the play called and come back up to the line of scrimmage, hopefully, for their part to try to get something going. He hands off to his running back, and they have a face mask penalty. And again, we've got another penalty. That was an inadvertent face mask, but nonetheless, inadvertent face mask count. And back we're going to go the other way as the Springdale Bulldogs get a penalty. And I tell you what, this has been unusual from the standpoint. It just seems like we're having all kinds of situations in this football game. And so the Bulldogs back up, and they didn't call that inadvertent. They call that a big time one. And so it's going to be first down now, and well, 1st and 10, they're going to mark it. Ball is on the 25-yard line. We hope to, at our next break, to bring you a report from the, well, goodness gracious, we've got an official timeout again. No indication as of yet why or what for. But this is really developing into a chaotic game. We hope that our next break give you a report from the sideline, as you saw a sideline shot there. But we hope to have Brian Cody again report from the sideline, from the stands actually, as he's there, and maybe we can try to get an indication to how Jim Ed Reed is doing. Of course, by the time you watch this, you have already known. The problem of doing these tape delay. Hey, if you'd like these things to be live, well, I've got the easy solution to that. You can just donate about $100,000 to my favorite television station, and then, hey, we'll do it, I guarantee. Just kidding. All right, 1st and 1 is the situation now. That's why the referees were a little bit confused, and Star Spencer is going to make a first down. They only made 2 in the first half, and they made them late in the first half on that last drive that garnered them their only points of the evening. So far, the third quarter has started out very sluggish for both teams, more so from Star Spencer's standpoint, as they're having some incredible difficulty getting anything going. So 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. 8:18 is where we stand left in the third quarter. He hands off to the inside man. He breaks a tackle, breaks 2 tackles, breaks 3 tackles, and goes out of bounds finally. And had he not been driven out of bounds, he may very well have gone all the way. So another first 1st and 10 for Star Spencer, and they're putting together their first impressive drive of the night. Really, the ball's on the 45-yard line of their own 45-yard line. Bulldogs better not get too lax here. Star Spencer scores again, and it's a whole new ball game. Bulldog defenders trying to dig in now and stop this drive. Holloway tries to roll out, and a very unique pass. He just pitched the ball forward, and it was caught up close to first down territory. And it really is going to depend on the spot. They're going to be short, maybe just a couple of inches. It's going to bring up a second down situation. So the Bobcats putting something together here. 7:30 left in the third quarter. Holloway showing the first sign of offense really for the Bobcats. Fakes the handoff inside, comes down the line, he turns the corner, gets by the initial tacklers and picks up another first down. And if Star Spencer had done this early in the ball game, we might have a different story right now. But as it is, they're 20 points behind, but moving steadily down the field. Is running, 7:15 and counting as Bobcats come up. Ball's on the 36-yard line, almost the 35 where the nose of it is at, of the Springdale Bulldogs. Only the second time they've been in this territory. And the Bulldogs stop them. And you may have heard over the microphone, Penalto makes the tackle. Second down and 9. First play, the Bulldogs really have held them up in a long time. Good defensive stand that time on that play by Springdale. Second down and 9. Holloway, just a small little quarterback, but has a speed. Offside's going to be called on the Bobcats as they got a little bit anxious there. The split end did. And so we're going to have another penalty, which is going to back up Star Spencer once again. And they've been heavily penalized. This is what I've got. That's their 7th penalty, or 8th penalty. We have another player shaken up on the play, another Bulldog. And as yet, no indication of just exactly who that is. And while we've got this time, we're going to see if we can get a report right now from Brian Cody.
Hello, it's Brian Cody again, and I'm in the band section at the Springdale High School football game. I'm talking with Bonnie, and she's going to tell me how the band did tonight.
We did good, but we're going to get better.
All right, we've got Michael Hancock down here, and he's going to tell us how he thought the band did tonight.
We did great. The sound was really there.
All right, what I'm holding in my hands here is a piccolo, the smallest instrument in the band. This is nothing in comparison to the size of the banana split that we're making tonight at Elmdale for Baptist Church, 1700 West Huntsville. By the time you see this on TV, of course, it'll be done. But next Friday after the game, we'll do a 5th quarter again, 1700 West Huntsville at Elmdale Baptist Church. Back to you, Mark.
All right, Brian, thanks a lot. It's good reporting down there. Chris Johnson was a Bulldog that was temporarily shaken up on the play, and he's going to come off the sidelines. Situation is at 6:20 in the third quarter. Bulldogs are ahead 28-8. Some sloppy play really on both parts of these teams. But the Bobcats putting a little bit of a drive together, had a penalty there, and so they are backed up an offside penalty. It's a second down 14 situation for them. And so we'll see what perhaps they're able to do at this point. It's good to have Brian Cody with us. He's a fine young man. We're looking forward to what he's going to be able to do working with students here in Springdale. Long snap count. Holloway's going to step back for a pass, and good defensive play made there by Brandon Hobbs as he just slipped a little bit on the grass. He tried to break on the ball and wasn't able to intercept it. Well, if he could have just kept his footing broken in front of that ball, he could have had a lot of running room in front of him. A 3rd down and 14 situation, ball's at the 39-yard line, and this is going to be a pivotal play. You think probably this far down for the Bobcats, and not having exhibited the best punting team in the world, they probably would be going for it. Again, in high formation with one of the backs split out wide. It's a little pass play, and I'll tell you what a tremendous tackle that was. And just an incredible play made there by the Bulldogs. It was just a little kind of a misdirection pass, and Dustin Douglas stayed at home and smack. He greeted the running back to the delight of these Springdale Bulldogs fans, and that brings up 4th down and 20, and that probably puts them in a situation where they are indeed going to have to punt. Maybe if they'd had an incomplete pass at that point, you wouldn't have thought they'd punt, but as sure as I say that, they of course make a liar out of me, and they are going to run it. 4th and 20. Holloway is going to take a deep drop. He's rushed heavily, throws a wobbly ball, and it was almost intercepted by Chastain, but really probably he did. It was better that he dropped it, because the Bulldogs will have the ball at the 46-yard line. If he intercepted it, I don't know that he would have got that far back. So the Bulldogs are going to take over possession at 5:22 mark. And we'll see what they're able to do. There you see a shot of Friday Night Flights as they're coming in to cover this game. 1st and 10, the Bulldog fans excited about the helicopter arriving. New quarterback for the Bulldogs, McGibney, drops the football, loses it, shuffle for it, and the Bobcats have recovered. And boy, I tell you what, both these teams have come out this second half pretty ragged, but the Bulldogs surprisingly are having some great difficulty getting things going here. And you often see that happen when you have a situation of a new quarterback. And I'll tell you what, that helicopter, Friday Night Flights 29 helicopter landing over on the practice field. And the best thing that's happened in a long time for us is that they're really kicking up a good breeze our direction. Well, hey, if you want to watch the best coverage of Springdale football, well, you know where to turn to. Channel 21. That's right. Ball's on the 44-yard line. Holloway hands off inside, just smothered by Bulldog defenders there, and they stop him cold in his tracks. We hoped at the next break maybe to have another report from Brian Cody in the stands, doing a good job, interviewing some of the Springdale band members, and they just did a fabulous job in their presentation. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. The ball's on Springdale's 43-yard line. 4:33 in the quarter. Holloway again drops back. He's going deep. He's got a man. Oh, good defensive play that time by 2 Springdale defenders. Jesse Birch was breaking towards the ball. It went through his hands. It could have been caught, but Tim Williams also made a play there. And so it's a 3rd down situation for the Bobcats. Still 28-8. Springdale in the first half just pretty much did whatever they wanted to do. They were stopped on their initial drive, but after that, they were not stopped hardly at all until the second team came in. Again, Holloway's dropping back. He's got a huge rush against him, and he is collared and brought down by Brian Smith-Peters all the way back into Springdale territory. And the last time I said, well, the Bobcats will have to punt, they didn't, but I tell you, you'd kind of have to think hard about this if you were a coach, because the ball is now at the 43-yard line of Star Spencer. A huge loss. Smith-Peters just came charging through the defensive line, and there was no one to stop him. There was a couple of people there making a good charge, and so sure enough, the Bobcats drop back into punt formation. Now, they had difficulty the last time. It sailed over the punter's head. They could do that again. We wouldn't mind, and they almost do that. And it almost was blocked. It's taken by Trollinger, and he's going to make it to the outside and get to his wall. Ah, terrible call. You know, I love to just say that's a horrible call. But that was a horrible call. I tell you what, I don't think that was a clip, but we'll have to wait and watch the replay, won't we? That's what the Springdale Bulldogs are going to be called for, clipping. We get a chance. We're going to go to Brian Cody. I'd say we go to Brian Cody now, but he gets a little, he talks a little long. We might miss the play. Well, there's a call, clip. Wasn't a clip either, but hey, we'll take it. That's one thing about our replays being on Springdale Cable. I don't have to be objective at all. You know, I can just home job it and nobody cares. I did last year have somebody from Fayetteville buy a tape and kind of complained a little bit. Speaking of buying tapes, we've had a couple of parents ask us about this. In fact, we made one tape. We'll do that for you. $15 is the cost, and we have a timeout for something or other, officials timeout. We'll see what it is. Probably some kind of a equipment timeout or something like that. I think we're going to be set. Yeah, we're going to be set now. The ball's at the 19-yard line. Tim Williams is the quarterback for the Bulldogs. Springdale needs to put something together here. And a handoff inside of Josh Trollinger. He fumbles the football. There's a scramble for it, and it looks like Star Spencer has it. And just what an incredible half this has been. And indeed, they have the football. Well, 2:56, Springdale turns it over again, and what just looked like a machine in the first half looks like it has run out of oil or something, because, man, they've just sort of gone flat. And the Bulldogs giving Star Spencer plenty of opportunities to get back in this game, and so once again, they'll have to depend upon the defense to do a job now to come in and hopefully save this situation for them. Well, the fans are excited because footballs are being thrown out into the stands. There's a fake inside. He pitches outside, well covered by the defenders. Dustin Douglas has had a big second half. One of the key ones in there on that tackle. And several other Bulldogs, along with Brian Smith-Peters. Josh Trollinger's played a whale of a game, and despite the injuries that he's had. Second 15's the call as the Bulldogs is going under 2 minutes in the third quarter. And we've got another timeout for. This is the most timeout, penalty-ridden game that I've called in a long time. All right, we're set now. And the clock's back rolling at 1:56. Holloway pitches to the outside, and he's met by Corey Wagner. He got another penalty. My goodness. This is incredible. Face mask penalty against the Bulldogs, and just no excuse for that. Of course, you know, a player doesn't intentionally say, I'm going to grab this guy by the face mask. It's just kind of one of those things, but nonetheless, it's going to wipe out what was a tremendous play, because it just was like there was no blocking whatsoever, and this is going to give Star Spencer new life, and the Bulldogs would have had them pinned way, way back. As it is now, you're looking at about a 2nd and 4 for first down. The clock's rolling with 1:42. And what has become an agonizingly long football game, one of the longest high school football games I've been to in quite a while. We're still in the third quarter. Holloway with an I formation with Caldwell in the very back. He fakes to him, rolls out, looking for a man. Cobal's got him rushed out of the pocket. He's driven out of bounds by Ben Weber finally. he may got back to the line of scrimmage. Coble gave the initial surge, flushed him out of the pocket. He was looking deep for his receiver, number 40, Harold Smith, the split end. He was fairly well covered. In fact, he's going to lose quite a bit on that. It's going to be a 3rd down and 8 situation. It's difficult from here to see that far sideline. I thought he'd gotten a few yards, at least back to the line of scrimmage. So Bulldogs need right now to stop the Bobcats and hopefully get the ball back. 3rd down, though. Man in motion for the Bobcats. Springdale's blitzing. He sends quite a shot. Now that's an excellent touchdown pass at 107. Star Spencer goes back on top. 26-yard touchdown pass. Well thrown ball. He had a lot of zip on that, and for really a small quarterback and impressive arms, he just shot that down the field, and it was thrown perfectly. Had to be, because had it been anything else, it would have been knocked away, because really was pretty good defense on the play. So 28-14 as the Bobcats are going to attempt to go for 2 points. After this, we'll go to Brian Cody in the stands. Holloway rolls out, tries to pump fake. He's going to try to get it in, and he does. And so at 107, the score is 28-16. We have quite a different ball game. Let's go to Brian Cody in the stands for a report.
Oh, Brian Cody again scores 28-16. Bobcats just made the point and the extra point. Still have a pretty good lead. The guys are playing great. Talking to Paul Williams. Paul, how do you think the team's doing this year?
I think they're doing pretty good. They're not doing better than us last year because we were awesome, you know.
All right, obviously a graduate. Hey, it's great at the game. Be there at after the football game, 5th quarter this Friday night at Elmdale Baptist Church. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Good camera work there. Also, hey, we have a different ball game here. What kind of we thought was a yawner, and we were going to be calling out names of players deep in the roster. It's a 2-touchdown game now. The Bobcats have made both touchdowns and 2-point conversions, and Springdale is doing the thing that the Bobcats did in the first half. They're the ones turning the ball over, and Star Spencer is benefiting from it. The kickoff is returned by Kirby Burks up to the 35-yard line. Good run back for the Bulldogs. That's some of the best position off a kickoff they've had. And incredibly, this is one of the worst field positions they have had to start with on an initial drive. That was the story in the first half. It hasn't been the story in the second half. This is their 3rd possession. Williams, the quarterback, Jim had Reed shaken up earlier. Chastain in motion, comes down the line. He hands off to Friesen, and he's going to get about 5 yards on the play, up over the 40-yard line to about the 41. Well, the ball's kind of between the 40 and the 41. Good run there by Friesen. It'll bring up a 2nd down and about 4 yards to go. And Springdale really needs to just drive the ball down the field and take control back of this game. As they set Coble on the other side, get him ready. Williams is set now, sends Chastain in motion, hands off again to Friesen. He's got running room, and he gets up to the midfield mark. And Springdale, by my records, is going to make their first down of the second half. Sean Friesen, about 9 seconds left in the half. And I don't know if we can go back to Brian Cody or not before the quarter. We'll try to do that. We'll see if he's got a report. This will be the last play. In fact, the Bulldogs probably won't get it off. We're going to go to, and that is the end of the quarter. The score's 28-16. And we'll see if we can hear a word from Brian Cody now.
You're watching one of the world's most advanced big screen televisions on the market today. It's made by RCA. It's like bringing the theater home to you. Let Layman's bring a big screen RCA into your home.
Free delivery and in-store financing available. Open 7 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Layman's Furniture, Appliance, and Electronics, 509 East Emma, downtown Springdale. And tell them WL sent you.
This guy can fly. Space technology of the 21st century. It's here, now, in the Air Force. Aim high. Air Force.
Well, welcome back. We're at the beginning of the fourth quarter there. We'll get that changed in just a moment. 28-16 is the score. The Bulldogs are beginning to put together a drive, and that's exactly what they need to do. And hopefully they'll be able to do something with this. By Tim Williams, he cuts back inside the 40-yard line. So Springdale gets back inside Bulldog territory with 11:52 left. And we've got a penalty flag, so it's all going to come back. Boy, wouldn't football be nice if there weren't referees? Oh, man, I tell you what a travesty this has become. That's the fourth penalty in this second half. The Bulldogs have suffered, but it's going to be a first down, so 1st and 18 is what the mark is going to be. Tim Williams, excellent run there. Since Burke in motion, hands off, good plays developed there. Chastain tried to make something out of it. Looked like he was going to develop, but he's going to actually lose a yard, and it'll bring up a second down for the Bulldogs. Sometimes it happens in football. You get out ahead that much, you sort of get a little lax, you kind of relax, and before you know it, things change very quickly, and that appears to have been what has happened tonight. But Bulldogs still have this game in hand. They need to make a first down here, but up against the wall, 2nd and 19. Williams hands off to Burke. He goes on a sweep. He's got plenty of running room, but he's going to be brought down from behind. He's going to get up close to midfield. Again, the speed of Star Spencer being shown there as really Burks had Friesen out in front of him making a block, and it appeared that he had wide open running room, but the defender made a quick recovery and came back for the tackle. Bulldogs having to deal with some injury situations tonight, some discipline situations, putting some young men out of the lineup, but you'd have to say, given that, it hasn't been too bad of a situation. Big concern is Jim Ed Reed, how badly hurt he is. Williams trying to roll out. He's got Friesen, but he just couldn't get to it. Williams never had an opportunity to get his feet planted, and as a result, he just had to toss that out on the run. Friesen did well just to get his hands on it. Would not have been enough for a first down at any rate, but would have at least put them a little bit deeper into Bobcat territory. As it is, the ball is resting a few inches inside Springdale territory, and the Bulldogs are going to be forced to punt. Corey Wagner in to do that. The 25-second clocks are working now. I'm not really sure why in the first half they had them turned off, and now, whoa, they had them on. I'll tell you why I said whoa in just a second. There's a punt, end over end wobbly kick. Is going to bounce and take a Springdale roll down to about the 15-yard line. Why I said whoa is that one of the players for the Bobcats, in fact it was Bill Caldwell, their star tailback, had to hurry off the field, and when he got to the sideline, there's AstroTurf in the players box. He slipped and went all the way to the sideline. I got Brian Cody up here in the press box with me. Well, Brian, this is your first Springdale home game, first time you got to see the marching band and the fans. Tell me, what do you think?
I'll tell you what, Mark, I'm very impressed with both the band and the football team. Last week at Jinx, they played a real good game, but this week they looks like they're going to come out on top.
Yeah.
It was just excellent.
A little different. Well, here we have the play here. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Thanks, Brian. We look forward to more reports from you. Inside handoff. Bulldogs are there and cover him well. thankful to have Brian Cody on the sidelines. People always tell me, you need a play-by-play man, or actually a color man. I do the play-by-play. And yes, we do, and we'll have auditions next week. I think it's the pay factor. People don't like what we pay. Free pizza is about it. Well, here we go with the 2nd down and 10 situation as the Channel 40-29 helicopters over the top of the field. Good pass rush, wobbly pass. Could have been intercepted, but the defensive backs did not have an opportunity to break on the ball in time. And the ball is incomplete as quarterback Holloway was really rushed. There you see a shot of the band. They're having a good time. Bulldogs up on top. You'd really like to see Springdale get another score to sort of give a true reflection of this game. They've handled the Bobcats fairly well up until the 3rd quarter and the drive that they made. 9:01 is where we stand left in the game. There's the snap. Again, he's rushed heavily, and he's unable to get the ball off as he himself is dumped. He was trying to go to Caldwell out in the flats. Brandon Hobbs had him covered, but the ball was overthrown. It's going to bring up a 4th down, and the Bobcats sending in their punting team. Of course, it could be a wild situation. The last time they tried to punt, it almost sailed over his head. And one time earlier, it did sail over his head. Bobcats looking to get all the players out on the field. 20-second clock down to about 15 seconds. They should have time to get it off. And here's the snap, a little bit high, but he brings it down, and he shakes it out of bounds. The Bulldogs are going to have good field position at about the 36-7 yard line, and we'll see what they're able to do with this. One of our sponsors is Elmdale Baptist Church, and people every once in a while say, why do you guys do high school football? Well, because we really believe in young people is really the #1 reason why. And this is a big part of students' life. Friday night football, a marching band. You've got 250 some odd kids or so in the band, as well as the football team, and we want to contribute something back for the contribution they make to this community. We've got a timeout, and with that, we're going to take a break and give you a message from another one of our sponsors, so you stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
We're on a first-name basis in communities from Magnolia to Mountain Home. We back the hometown heroes in dozens of high schools throughout the state. And for years, we've helped with first dates, weddings, and second homes. Last Saturday, we made the loan for the boat and had quick cash for the bait, too. In fact, wherever you live, a little of us will rub off on you. Because no matter where you go in Arkansas, the local color is true blue.
What is pizza integrity? Pizza, pasta, salad, dessert. That's pizza integrity. That's Pizza Inn.
Okay, we're back with the Bulldogs having a 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line of Star Spencer. 8:46 left in the game. Burke's in motion. He hands off inside to Friesen. He fumbles the football, and there's quite a tussle for it. Star Spencer has recovered, and the sloppiness continues. Boy, this has really been the tale of 2 football teams. The first half, the Bulldogs just didn't seem like they could do anything wrong. Star Spencer couldn't do anything right. Now it's kind of turned the other way around. Springdale had good field position there, coughed it up, however, on what would have been a good 1st and 10 run by Sean Friesen. So the Bulldogs back on defense once again. One thing, the defensive line has really been able to penetrate well. Star Spencer's thrown just about on every down, trying to get back in this ball game. We'll see what they do here. Again, they throw the ball. First time they get the ball out in the flat, and they're going to get maybe 2 or 3 yards as a result of that. Number 22 for the Bulldogs, Todd Bewley, brought the receiver down. That was Harold Smith, the split end. It's interesting if you watch on these snaps, the center snaps the ball so hard, Holloway's head just pops back. He's only 5'6", 165 pounds, but every time the ball snaps, it looks like he's going to take his head off. You watch on this snap, we can get a little bit tighter shot on Holloway and get a look at this snap. There, see his head break. He fakes, pumps, fakes, goes for a pass down the sidelines. Williams takes the ball and catches it and finally gets manhandled down. Had he not been tackled, there was no one in front of him. And so Springdale gets another interception. That's the third of the night for them, and Williams has garnered a couple of those himself. He's going to go back in at quarterback. One of the other big stories in this game, Jim Ed Reed was shaken up. He was on the sideline without his shoulder pads, and of course by the time we hear this, we'll know more about his condition, how he's doing, but at this point he has played his last down of the night. And hopefully the Bulldogs can put something in the end zone. 7:24 and counting. Tim Williams quarterbacking the first team offense. Chastain in motion. Trollinger takes the handoff up close to the midfield mark. They're going to mark him at what we'll call the 49-yard line, which would be about a 2-yard pickup. You'll have 8 yards to go. Bulldogs up front led by Rick Hammonds, the 6'3", 247-pound seniors. Mark Blackwell, 5'11", 179-pound senior, is one of the guards. Clint Penalto, 5'9", 199-pound senior. Jonathan Lewis is one of the tackles, 5'11", 225. And then Lloyd Meeks is a 6'4", 214-pound sophomore, with Sean Coble, number 84, the tight end, in place of Joe Davenport. Burks is taking the handoff. He breaks inside, is going to make maybe a yard, what they're going to mark him, just inside Star Spencer territory. It'll be a 3rd down and 7 situation for the Bulldogs, and I'm not sure what the Star Spencer coaches told their players at halftime, but they've come out and played a much better game defensively, as well as showing some things on offense, trying to get pumped up and excited. But that 28-0 lead that Springdale amassed was a difficult task for Star Spencer to make up. Williams takes the snap. He hands off. Good hard charging run there by the Bulldog runner. There was number 22, Todd Bewley, and he's finally brought down well shy of first down territory, however, about 4 yards shy. And so the Bulldogs are going to be forced into a punting situation. And so the offense that seemingly clicked without any hesitation or pause has had great difficulty here in the second half, being thrown off rhythm, losing their starting quarterback, unable to put any kind of real offense together. Coy Wagner gets the punt off. It's a pretty good punt. It's going to be taken at about the 15-yard line. He snakes by several tacklers, breaks a tackle. He's got a wall in front of him. He's going to go all the way, but he trips up on his own man. Just as I started to say he's going to go all the way, it really looked like there wasn't anybody that could stop him, and I think that when it's all said and done, he tripped over his own man. Well, we've got another person shaken up. While we're pausing, waiting for that, I don't know if we can get another shot of that. I want to tell you that we hope that you will watch our replays every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 o'clock. Let me tell you about another program that we'd like for you to watch, and that's Elmdale Baptist Church's Truth for Today. Their worship service is played live Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock. If you're unable for some reason to make a church service, we'd love to have you tune in live. It's also on replay Sunday nights at 10 o'clock and then Monday nights at 8 o'clock, and we'd love to have you watch. One of the things we're committed to is to help people not only enjoy themselves watching these replays, but help folks learn how to be a real winner in life, and that only comes when you give your life to Jesus Christ. And so that's one of the things that we're about, we've committed our lives to, and we're all about telling people about the good news of Jesus Christ. Well, right now, with a 1st and 10 for Star Spencer, as again, heavy rush on the quarterback. He gets the pass away, however. Brandon Hobbs makes the tackle, sort of dived in front of the receiver at that point, but not before they pick up about 6 yards. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 4 situation. I think you're pretty much going to see Star Spencer passing and trying quickly to put something together, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them go for the long ball here. But again, good rush by the Springdale defensive line, just unable to wrap Holloway up. Well, as I say that, Holloway hands off inside. Good yardage by Bill Caldwell. Bill Caldwell, a guy that we look to really be the playmaker for them in this game. We've not heard a whole lot from him. Officials called timeout. Is he going to spot that? And they're going to eye it very closely and are going to call it a third down. Third down and about really just inches to go, about a half a foot. And so the Bulldogs will attempt to dig in and get something going here, hopefully to stop Star Spencer at 4:21. There's a handoff inside. Good penetration by the Bulldogs, and they just refuse to let him go. And they brought him down, and I think, if I'm not wrong, that was Smith Peters. It was Brian Smith Peters, the nose man, made the initial penetration, and actually Star Spencer lost about 6 inches. So it's now a true 4th and 1. The ball's at the 44-yard line of Springdale, and this is a big, big down. If the Bulldogs can hold them here, then the game, for all practical purposes, would be over if the Bulldogs would not give it back up with a fumble. A handoff inside to the running back. He's met, but his forward progress is going to give him the first down. As you can see the mark there by the officials. That's a good mark, and it's going to be a first down for Star Spencer and keep this drive alive. They just barely make enough yardage as they eye it. And they want Trollinger to make sure that he understands that indeed it is a 1st and 10, and it is. So with 3:34 left in the game, Star Spencer could very well make this game look respectable from their standpoint, and probably have already done that by just the folks who look at the scoreboard. But there's a lot of different stories about this game. Star Spencer scored on really the second team offense late, and many of those young men played, different offensive sets being played by the coach. Good rush by the Bulldogs, and they finally bring him down. 2 men pivotal on that. Smith Peters was one, and Dustin Douglas was the other. And both those young men have played a tremendous game defensively. They put a fierce rush on Holloway all night long, and finally they get to bring him down. And at 2:53 and counting, the Bobcats are in a deep hole now. 2nd down and 20 is what the mark is. It may be just a little bit more than that, about 21 yards for the first down. So they went from Springdale's 44 to their own 44-yard line. 2:36 and counting. Holloway again drops back. He's rushed and pressured again, but he finds a man just through his outstretched fingers. Holloway got thumped by Burks, and he's slow to get up, but he threw a bullet, and he almost had Harold Smith. It just went through Harold Smith's fingertips. I don't know that he would have made a touchdown, but it would have been a long, long gainer. 2:30 is where we stand. 3rd down, 20 now, as the Bulldogs try to wrap this thing up. This has really been a defensive lineman's dream. Plenty of opportunities to sack the quarterback, and had it been a slower quarterback, they would indeed have had quite a few sacks, but Holloway's got some quickness and has been able to elude the defenders thus far. So 3rd and 20, again, he's back to pass, and Kirby Burks hits him first, and then Sean Coble gets the dump. Starting to say Coble's had a tough night, and that time his man was holding him. It's pretty tough to sack the quarterback when you got a guy hanging on to your jersey, but big Sean Coble broke free and was able to sack him. We have a timeout, and with that timeout, we'll take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
He maketh me to lie down in green pastures.
He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul.
He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of my enemies.
Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.
And I will dwell in the house of the Lord
forever.
Well, we're back, and it's not 0-0 in the fourth quarter. It's 28-16, 2:12 left. And we'll try to get that graphic correct for you. Springdale Bulldogs looked good in the first half. Springdale Bulldogs have looked sloppy in the second half, but it's going to be a win for Springdale. 4th and 27 for Star Spencer. And they're going to try to put something together, and their quarterback is just going to be smushed. Sean Friesen and Brian Smith-Peters lead the charge, and the Bulldogs are going to have 1st and 10 then from the Star Spencer's 30-yard line. I kind of hope the Bulldogs can put something in. The defense really has risen to the occasion tonight. The defensive front, you've got to give an awful lot of credit to them, because had they not been pouring through there, Holloway would have had just incredible opportunities, but nonetheless, with that kind of rush, it's pretty tough to get a play off. Timeout called by the Bobcats. And I'll tell you what, we'll keep it here. Gives me an opportunity to thank our sponsors who make this possible for us. They're, of course, Elmdale Baptist Church, Lehman's, Worthen Bank Pizza Inn, and First National Bank. It gives me also an opportunity to tell you that there are openings in these games for you or your company to help sponsor this. When you do that, you're not so much advertising your products as you're making a statement that you're a supporter of high school athletics. What we make on this is absolutely nothing, as you see some of the band members there. All of our people are volunteers, and they give their time and efforts to make this an enjoyable event for you and for all the band members. Good night for high school football tonight. It's been an exciting game. It's had its moments. 2:06 left in the game for the Bulldogs. Josh Trollinger has been the main man for the Bulldogs tonight. He's back in the backfield with Burks and Chastain. Williams at quarterback. Hands off inside to Trollinger. He leaps forward over a couple of defenders. He's going to get maybe 4 yards on the carry, and it's going to be a 2nd down and 4. You see some of the folks having a good time on the sidelines. Some of the girls running a pass play. Well, she caught the ball. That's better than what some have done tonight. 1:39 and counting, 2nd and 6 on the 26. Burks goes in motion. Trollinger just a little play on the outside. He breaks free for enough yardage to get a 1st and 10. And it'd be good to see the Springdale Bulldogs, just for nothing else, for pride's sake, confidence sake, to put another one in the end zone. This week, as you're watching this, Friday night coming up, Springdale Bulldogs will be back here in Bulldog Stadium taking on the Bentonville Tigers. It opens up the Quad 4A West race for Springdale, and it's good to have that kind of an opponent to match up against. Certainly no pushover, as perhaps they have been in times past. Bentonville much tougher this year, and so give the Bulldogs a little bit of a contest. Moving to 1 minute, there's a handoff inside again to Trollinger. He bangs forward for some tough yardage, and it may be that Gerald Williams is just going to be content to run the clock out and drive forward. If something opens up, well and good, but not try to get anybody else injured tonight. Bulldogs without Joe Davenport, who has mononucleosis, and we certainly hope that, Joe Dean, if you're watching, you get well and get well quickly. We missed you tonight. 35 seconds in counting. Could be the last play of the game. 2nd and 8 from the 14 of Star Spencer. Tim Williams in for Jim Ed Reed. Drops back, throws a pass. Had a man wide open, but really some miscommunication between he and Chastain, and so 21 seconds left. 3rd down and 8 is going to be the call. We're going to endeavor to bring you all the Bulldog games this year. It gets a little bit difficult for us when we have to go to places like Fort Smith Northside, where they're very limited on room. Russellville, where I have to call the football game outside the stadium on a grassy knoll. But we'll do our best. 3rd and 8 from the 14-yard line. The Bulldogs trying to put another score on the board. Williams drops back, has a man, but he underthrows him. And he was looking for Clay Galloway. 16 seconds left, so the Bulldogs have a 4th down situation. So let's see what they're able to do here. And what will be the last offensive play, at least for the Bulldogs, you would think. Well, I'll tell you what they're going to do. It looks like Corey Wagner's going to come in and attempt a field goal. That's probably a good play situation. Almost like a practice kick.